The rising crime rate and the officer shortage were at the center of the conversation at D.C. Council today as the acting police chief begins the first step of her confirmation process. Ardelia Gonzalez is live outside the council chambers, and that is where Pamela Smith is telling the council why she is qualified for the job. Dee, I know you've been there all day. We know the acting chief began her testimony about an hour ago. What are the takeaways so far?
Yeah, well, this has been a very long discussion. The public roundtable started at 11:30 this morning. We're almost 6 hours in, and it is still happening inside of council chambers. As you mentioned, the acting chief started her testimony just about an hour ago, and you can see she is still answering questions from the council members on the initiatives that she has implemented, and they want to know if that's really going to translate into lowering the crime number. So we're talking about efforts like a carjacking task force, violent crime initiative, and also beefing up recruiting officers, which obviously, as you heard from the mayor, is a huge challenge at this point. But earlier today, you know, the faith leaders, ANC commissioners, and concerned residents who came to council chambers, they had one urgent plea: to act quickly and aggressively to get this violence under control. The acting chief did not speak to reporters before being ushered inside for testimony before the council's Judiciary and Public Safety Committee. The public roundtable on her nomination coming just one day after violence claimed more of our neighbors. The murder of a high school student walking home from school and the shooting death of a man caught in the crossfire. Neighbors killing each other, generations lost, families afraid.
We are failing to keep our kids safe. And we have to do everything humanly possible to change that.
You sounded surprised today that it hit 209. It's going to be close to 300. Do the math by the end of the year without swift action.
At 209, the murder rate is the highest we've seen in 2 decades. At issue is Pamela Smith, a newcomer to MPD, but a 25-year veteran of law enforcement and former chief of the U.S. Park Police, qualified to lead us out.
I'm here to ask you to not confirm Muriel Bowser's choice for chief of police. When crime is at a 20-year high, she chooses a park ranger when we need a Marine general at war.
She's been tirelessly at meetings east of the Anacostia River, in the community, talking and engaging with residents.
It's encouraging to see a leader who emphasizes the importance of rebuilding relationships by understanding and tending to the needs of people.
I recognize that I have begun my tenure as DC acting chief during some of our most critical public safety challenging times. But it also means that there is an opportunity to have a significant impact in our community and the department. The most pressing concern that I've heard from community members is the increase in robberies and carjackings and the fear that this creates. Homicides and shootings are also up this year, leading to a 36% increase in DC Code Index violent crimes so far this year. Much of this was driven by a sharp increase this summer. While we have a lot of work to do to overcome the violence we have seen in our community this year, I believe the initiatives that I will brief you on today are helping to interrupt this cycle and make our city safer.
Acting Chief Pamela Smith on the hot seat today for nearly an hour, and it again is still happening inside council chambers as she continues to answer questions from these council members. I do have a couple of numbers and updates from the acting chief. She said that police will be installing 22 new closed-circuit TV cameras, and 21 new officers will be joining the force soon, and she said that's the largest class of new officers and recruits that they have had in a year. Now, I have to mention another staggering number. We've been talking about this 209 murder rate, which is just sad and heartbreaking for so many residents who love and live in this city. But I have to tell you about another number, and Councilmember Christina Henderson brought this up earlier today. She made a direct link to the opioid crisis and our crime crisis. Not only have 209 people died by gunfire, but she says 238 of our neighbors have died of drug overdoses on our streets. Back to you in the studio.
And when you add it up, Delia, that is so many families who are just devastated for a myriad of reasons. And, you know, it's not enough for us to say this is a problem. This is going to take a whole lot of people and a whole lot of us to help get our arms around as well. We'll be watching to see what happens here. Dee, thank you.